Sway in the morning. You know, Heather B. I grew up a big James Bond fan.
Yeah, me too. Miss Moneypenny.
Is what?
Miss Moneypenny.
Yeah, Miss Moneypenny. And I've always been fascinated by the world of espionage. You know, because only relation we have to it is what we've seen in the movies, you know, what we read in books. And often when you see it in the news to this day, like you hear these stories about modern day spies, you kind of don't believe it, that people are still spying right now. You mean there's Russian spies in America today? There's American spies in China today.
German spies.
Yeah, they're all here, right? We even got spies from different radio stations that work here at Sirius XM.
Oh. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so with that said, there's a book by real CIA operatives, and they reveal how they stay safe in a dangerous world and how you can, too, survive like a spy, written by the New York Times best-selling author of Spy Secrets That Can Save Your Life. The one and only Jason Hanson is here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Jason's from Utah, Heather. Probably a Utah Jazz fan.
That's right. Stockton and Malone.
He's taking it back.
He had to go way back. That's the last time they were hot.
Yeah, that's kind of true, sadly.
Heather, you agree?
Well, he said it.
Jason, what do you think of a book like this? You know, right now, man. Basically, you know, when you watch the political climate we watch on TV every day, it's better than the soap operas now. It's more extreme than the movies. How is a book like this relatable to your average everyday American citizen and what they do in everyday life?
Yeah, so as you said, we live in a crazy, crazy world.
Yeah.
I mean, we got school shootings, we got people being attacked in parking lots. Unfortunately, the world isn't getting any safer.
Yeah.
So CIA operatives are the best in the business of keeping themselves safe. And so what this book is it teaches you what they do and how you can apply it to your everyday life. So you can learn how to avoid being stalked like a CIA operative. You can avoid being followed in a car. So it is very applicable to anybody that want to keep themselves safer.
But how? Like what in this world, like this guy right here, DJ Wonder, could probably NDB could look up your name and find out everything about you. And the matter of fact, look up his name. Let's see what we can find out. How can you prevent this from happening in this digital age?
Well, first you get false information. So yesterday, a bunch of people wished me happy birthday on Facebook. It was not my real birthday. I don't put in that information.
Okay.
I don't have anything tying me to my home address. So you can get trusts, you can get LLCs. So if you set up a trust in an LLC, you can hide everything. It's obviously, it takes a little work, but it's perfectly legal.
Okay.
So even though, I'm here with you now, I got a wife and 4 kids who I want to protect. So it's very hard to actually find where I'm at if you wanted to.
So when I asked him, where are you from, you did pause before you said Utah. Is that the truth?
That is the truth.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Utah is the truth. But I'm
Okay.
in the mountains. I'm in a hard place to find, and I want to keep it that way because of all the wackos in the world.
Is it that wacky right now? Or I mean, some might argue that, you might be a little paranoid. But is it that wacky?
Of course it's that wacky. I mean, because in my business, we're talking to people who have abusive spouses. They're trying to go on their own. We got people who have stalkers. So it doesn't matter who you are. You either have been a victim of a crime or you know somebody, and that's the sad state of affairs.
I was in Paris yesterday, and I signed up for global entry, so you could go in and out of the country smoother and easier. But with that, I didn't realize, I kind of regret that I gave up all my information, because as soon as you put your fingerprints down, your whole life shows up. But how can you avoid that, if you want to travel the world, if you want to go into other places? You could still lie in that sense?
Well, I mean, for instance, on my driver's license, it's really a P.O. box / UPS store. So as long as it's a physical address, it's perfectly legal.
Damn.
And so,
Nice.
I'm born in the state of Virginia, got my license there. I had a P.O. box on my license. When I moved to Utah, they said it can't be a P.O. box. It has to be an address. So the UPS store has a physical address you can use. So you can have it on your car registration. You can have it on, any document you want. Because let's face it, we know there are crooked cops out there. There have been instances where a cop has run your license plate because you're dating his ex-wife. Now he knows where you live. Well, anybody can run my license plate and you'll end up in the UPS store.
Yo,
Where's Jason
gangsta.
at?
Jason Hanson, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, cute.
And that's legal?
Yeah, it's perfectly legal.
Oh.
I mean, when I first moved to Utah, they told me it couldn't be a P.O. box because when I lived in Virginia, it could be. And so I just went to the UPS store because it doesn't say P.O. box. It says, 123 Main Street, number XXX. And because it's a physical address, I'm good to go.
Wow, Tracy.
Whew, Jason, let's talk about artificial intelligence for a bit because that's where our world is moving at a rapid rate. I have some friends who criticize me because I personally have 2 Amazon Echoes in my home. They just help simplify my life, but they say they're always listening all the time. You don't know how the information can be used. I personally don't care so much because I feel like the sacrifice for my safety in some ways is a little bit of my privacy. But I also have a friend, artificial intelligence uses like an Amazon lock where everything is digital. And sometimes I think to myself, it can be easily hacked. If we're using all of these different devices that are voice enabled, is this really going to be more towards our detriment in the future?
Well, it will be if hackers start getting good at hacking everything. So anything that's connected to the Internet of Things, can be hacked, whether it's your thermostat, whether it's your refrigerator. So it's always a trade-off between how much security do you want, how much convenience.
Yeah.
So I don't have an Amazon Echo because I know they record. I know they can learn everything about me, and I don't want that. It's the same thing like Uber. I've never taken an Uber in my life because the background checks those guys get are horrific, which is why if you Google like Uber attacks, you'll see all the attacks. Then again, most people are like, I don't care. I don't want to have to wait in the taxi line. Like yesterday when I landed, I had to spend forever in the taxi line.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to sacrifice more for the security and safety of my family. Other people are like, forget about it. If it takes longer than 5 minutes, I don't care if they're going to kill me.
Let's go back to hiding our identity and where we live and those sort of. That's what I'm most concerned about because I don't have. I got the devices, but I haven't connected my. What do you call it?
Amazon Echo.
And all those things. My niece actually works for Amazon, so I get this stuff. King Tech's daughter works there. Yeah. I've been a victim of identity theft. And how they did it is they obtained a social security number, and then under that number purchased property and all this different things. So when I went to go purchase property, I had all this debt under my name. How can you avoid? You can't change your social security number, can you?
You can actually.
You can?
It's a big pain in the butt. You have to have a reason. But the problem is it screws up. No, you can. You can change it.
Really?
Yeah, you can change it. But you may. There's a lot of factors that go into it. It's not an easy process at all. And then plus, if you don't connect the 2 numbers right, you may not get credit for your previous Social Security payments. So it's not something to take lightly.
Okay.
I'll tell you a quick story. So maybe 2 years ago, you remember how the U.S. government had something like 22 million security clearances stolen?
I remember this. Yes.
Well, I get a letter in the mail that basically says, hey, congratulations, Jason. Because you had a top secret security clearance, you were one of the 22 million people whose information was stolen.
Wow.
And that information went to the North Koreans, the Chinese, the Russians, and all of them. Well, one of the most important things you can do, because they had my Social Security number, is put a credit freeze. So freeze all the credit reports, TransUnion, Equifax, all those ones. Because then if they go and try and take out a loan to buy property or buy a car, the credit is frozen, they can't get it. So that's like the number one easiest thing you can do.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got to do the usual boring stuff like check your bank statements every month, check your credit cards every month. And there's no good answer except to put that credit freeze so it hopefully stops them in the first place.
Wow, man. Jason Hanson is here, man. The new book, Survive Like a Spy, is available now. I'm going to open up the phone lines. You have any questions for this guy? 888-742-3345. My advice is don't give your real name.
And people, it just seems like people just so lazy. You just need Alexa to turn your lights on.
Chill out.
And it's just lazy.
I am with you. But see, because the American public is so lazy, criminals know that, which is why cons are so easy this day.
Yeah.
I can defend myself.
We're going to open up these phone lines. Shade 405.
We're on a shit. We're on a shit.
Yeah, we got special guests here. Wrote a book, Real CIA Operatives Reveal How They Stay Safe in a Dangerous World, ladies and gentlemen. The world is dangerous and how you can too. Everyday people, everyday walks of life, How to Survive Like a Spy by Jason Hanson. I'm scared. Do you even have social media?
I do. I have like people in my company that run it, but yeah, I don't have a Facebook page. I don't have Twitter. I don't do any of that stuff.
He's proud.
So what is it? What is your social media address? Do you know it?
My social if I had to get, our company is Spy Escape, so it's at Spy Escape or Spy Escape Invasion, something like that. But I couldn't even find my own Facebook page.
Okay, cool, man. I would be so nervous if I was your wife. All right, we got Rob from LA, man. Go ahead, Rob. You got a question for him?
Robbie.
Yeah, what's going on? What age did you start hiding your identity? Like, what made you want to start doing that? And also, like for payment wise, instead of using credit cards and stuff, do you use cryptocurrencies to stay incognito, or like Bitcoin and Monero, stuff like that?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, well, what age first is when I joined the CIA. It makes you very healthily paranoid. So I joined the agency, was I 23 or 24? Let's just say 24. So I was young, so I immediately started putting practices in place because they kind of brainwash you in a good way to do that. And as far as money, spies always pay cash. So when you're overseas, you don't want a paper trail. You don't want to have receipts for anything. And also here in the States, I'll just go get one of those prepaid visas or prepaid credit cards. So grab it off the Walmart rack, put $500 or whatever I want. But I try and stick to cash as much as possible.
Okay. Hey, man, thanks for your call, Rob. I try to do that, too.
How do you build your credit?
That is a great question. So again, that's the
Yes.
fine line between do you want to build credit or do you want to have a paper trail? So yeah, obviously, if you want to buy a house, unless you're rich and pay cash, God bless if you can. But then you are going to have to do that. You are going to have to get a credit card. You are going to have to get some loans.
I heard in America they're trying to get rid of cash because there's even some institutions I'll go to and it's card only.
Yeah, there's rumors all the time that they've been trying to go electronic forever because then
Yeah.
they can track you better.
Exactly.
And the U.S. government wants to make sure you're not avoiding taxes or not aiding terrorism. So I hope we never go that way, but I know that's their goal.
I'm just more curious about the life of a spy. So, I'm a big movie guy, Mission Impossible, Bourne Identity. Which movie, in your opinion, would you say was closely resemble what you guys go through?
I like this question.
Here's what I could say is it's a lot less sexier than you think. The movies would sell 0 tickets. So it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of behind the scenes work. So if you're jumping out of a helicopter, if you're driving to take down a city, that means you screwed up. Spies need to be invisible, meaning you walk in a room, you walk out of a room, nobody knows you're ever there, and that's the good spy.
OQ.
Jason, how difficult is it to maintain a family? Like, how often do you see your wife?
It's actually very difficult. So I now have a wife and 4 kids, but I got married after I left the agency. One of the reasons I left, I was there from 2003 to 2010, is most guys I know were divorced or else they hated their wife and kids because they never saw them and they had really bad relationships. So anybody in the agency will tell you it's a single man's game.
Yeah, because without telling us the mission, what's the most danger you ever been in as a spy?
Most danger. Thankfully, if you're good at what you do, there's not a lot of danger, but people following you and you're not sure that your cover's been blown.
Okay.
So, for instance, you want something called an SDR, which stands for Surveillance Detection Route.
Yeah.
And that's a fancy word for saying you don't go from point A to point B. So if I were meeting someone today and it was a foreign asset, I might go to Walmart, then Starbucks, then the gym, all these different areas to see if anybody's following me.
Yeah.
And so, if you think you're being followed, you're like, holy crap, am I going to have a hood put over me and be in a foreign jail kind of thing? And so times when you think you're being followed, it's incredibly nerve-wracking. But thankfully, nothing bad ever happened to me.
So you never were made?
No.
Okay.
No, good to go so far.
If you're a spy and you're a woman, isn't it a lot more difficult? I mean, I would imagine that women is this world of inequality. I'm sure that women who are spies are asked to do a lot of different things that men may not be asked to do.
Just like Red Sparrow that's out now, where she joins a institution where they try to make her seduce spies and use her body as a weapon.
Does that happen?
So I can tell you this. So women spies are incredible.
Okay.
Women are really, really good agents because everybody lets their guard down around a woman. A man comes in, they're like, holy crap, he may be bad. A woman, they're relaxed. I will tell you that in the U.S. government, we don't use spies, women as seductresses, meaning, a employee of the CIA or employee of the NSA is not going to sleep with whoever.
Okay.
However, foreign intelligence agencies do that like crazy, especially the Cubans. The Cubans love to send beautiful women, try and seduce you, and the Cubans will do anything and everything to get what they want.
Because they know the men over here weak as hell.
I'd be a dead ass spy. I'd be giving up all the secrets.
DB be giving up all the files.
And they
Here's
single.
Jason's number.
Here's the code word. All right, Vintage from Virginia. Go ahead. You got a question for Jason?
Yeah. First and foremost, big shout out to the Shade 45 fam. Peace and good morning.
Thank you.
And Jason, man, it's certain. I know it's hard to stay discreet in this world because certain entertainment things that people are in. For fact, like the Shade 45 group, they was in a movie, and I know everybody.
By the way, we were in Bruce Willis's new movie, Death Wish.
Oh, very cool.
We're all up in it, bro.
Man, I love the Death Wish movies.
Man, go
Those
see
are great.
it, man. Go buy a ticket.
Excellent.
Pay cash. But what's your question, Vintage? Go ahead. What's your question?
Yeah, but even in that sense, you got to give up your real name, your real address, and what you really do in real life. You can't give up no false information or fabricated information. Will they let it slide when you're giving up P.O. boxes and stuff like that on your address? How can you get over stuff like that when you're in the entertainment business?
Yeah, I mean, you could still give it. I mean, they got to mail checks somewhere. They got to mail whatever form somewhere. So, again, get a UPS store. It shows up as a real physical address. So, I do TV all the time. I do all kinds of things, and I've never had a problem. Even my tax returns don't show my real address.
Damn.
I was
Damn, man. We're going to, you know what? Thanks for your call, Vintage. And then we got a lot of people on the line. Matt from Toronto, Larry from Texas, Will in Pittsburgh, Fred in New York, Tyrone in Louisiana. Normally, I would say hit them up directly on his social media.
You ain't even going to talk to him.
hit him up directly.
You can't send him a letter.
What's the company? What did you find on them, Wonder? Did you find? I have Wonder dig you up real quick. Let's see.
It's just this company, Spy Escape, on Facebook.com/Spy Escape.
And that is our company. So, yeah, that's our Facebook page. I don't monitor it, but, yeah, I have my team who answers all that stuff. So they'll reach out to me.
Okay, get the new book, too, by the way. Survive Like a Spy by Jason Hanson. Man, thank you for coming through, bro.
Hey, I appreciate
fun,
it. You guys
man.
are blessed. I want to stay here all day.
Yeah, man. Shit. I'm scared to have you stay here all day, man. You know.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.